Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Mac from CryptoPotato.com. Before we get started in this week's market update, let's take a sneak peek at what's awesome. Let's get right into this week's market update. This week in crypto, panic among the crypto markets. With the sudden and recent news from China, sharp declines in the Bitcoin's price, which fell by about 20% in just one day, and even worse situations in the altcoins. Keep in mind, we have experienced this in the past with China banning Bitcoin. But we cannot ignore the fact that Bitcoin is on a downward trend. This seems to be another shake of weak hands in short term as we continue down. But if we look at the past, Bitcoin is headed to a healthy correction. The uncertainty surrounding Bitcoin's price is well felt in the crypto markets. Its total value dropping from $830 billion to $560 billion at the time of making this market update. $290 billion of the market value was erased within a week. Alongside the news from China, the holiday season may also be attributing to some of the declines this week, as this period of the year is characterized by taking profits. After a year of intense increases, it seems that in 2018, we still don't know how much support Bitcoin will receive from the government. In the altcoin sector, despite the drop, it appears that the Ethereum price still holds around $1,000. Alongside Ethereum, it appears that NEO is also grappling with market volatility. This is due to the large number of ICOs that have been created on its platform recently. Apparently, some investors exploited the momentum of the raising funds of NEO in order to hedge the risk and reduce the impact of the sharp fluctuations in the market. The largest alts that sustained the severe corrections were TRX and XRP, whose price dropped by approximately 30% during the last 24 hours. Of course, there are other altcoins whose price has dropped at a higher percentage, but these are relatively new and not major ones. Overall, 2018 began with too much enthusiasm around the crypto market, and it seems that the market has been given a little cool down injection. The volatility in the crypto market is not new to us, and it seems that despite the sharp declines, the crypto market is still on a long-term rising trend. Perhaps the all-time high is still ahead of us. The enthusiasm surrounding the crypto market is also reflected in the growing interest in blockchain technology. But it's important to remember that it's only at the beginning of its revolution. News from this week. Let's get into it. First, let's start in the bank sector. In the past few years, Goldman Sachs has expressed a distinct aversion to the crypto market, yet it seems that now their minds have changed. It seems that the bank now believes in Bitcoin's chance of becoming real money, especially in less developed countries, such as African countries. Additionally, JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, is also changing his mind. Having been consistently opposed to anything related to crypto in the past year, and having even argued that employees of his bank should be fired for being involved in cryptocurrencies. That to me is just absurd. Next, the US bank, Metropolitan Bank, froze all international transactions related to cryptocurrencies. The bank has earned its reputation as a private broker involved in various trading companies. Among them is the crypto exchange Coinbase. The bank has yet to respond to the announcement. Simultaneously, one of the banks in Sweden, Northern European Bank of Nordea, announced that it would prohibit its employees from holding and trading cryptocurrencies. Next up, the technological sector. IBM and Comcast M-State have expressed their support for blockbuster startups and have announced plans to invest $25,000 to $50,000 in 6 companies in the crypto field. In addition, the Amazon-owned streaming company, Twitch, has announced it would begin receiving payments in Bitcoin. Now, this is contradictory to Microsoft's most recent announcement last week that it will not allow its customers to purchase its products with Bitcoin. 2 other giant companies plan to enter the blockchain market. Telegram plans to raise $1.2 billion, which would be the largest amount ever raised by any ICO ever. In the framework of the ICO, Telegram plans to launch their TON, T-O-N currency. To explain briefly, Telegram plans to build a blockchain-based payment system that will integrate with its existing messaging service, a concept similar to the Chinese WeChat, but for the global community. Along with Telegram, Eastman Kodak also announced that it plans to launch a platform based on Kodak One, which creates an encrypted digital ledger of ownership copyrights for photographers. In addition to the platform, the Kodak coin will be issued within the framework of the ICO, which is expected to be released on January 31st. In addition, the Indian mobile company Reliance Jio announced that it intends to launch its own crypto coin, the Jio coin. Next up, let's talk crypto market news. The exponential growth of the crypto market seems to be continuing. News this week showed that the largest crypto market in the world, in terms of trading volume, Binance, is adding about 240,000 new users per hour. This is despite the declines we experienced in the market this week. Also, it seems that the demand for various authorities to increase transparency in the sector are beginning to have an impact, and various trading platforms are tightening their KYC process, most notably Bitstamp. Now let's go to news around the world. First, let's start in South Korea. The South Korean tax authorities have begun investigating 2 of the country's largest crypto exchanges, BitThumb and Coin1, on suspicion of tax evasion. In addition, Coin1 is also being investigated by the local police on suspicion of providing illegal gambling services, which would be in direct disregard with previous announcements and warnings made by the government over the past few weeks, which relate, among other things, to tougher regulations regarding crypto. The Ministry of Finance announces that all users must convert their anonymous accounts into identified ones that are linked to their real bank account. Users who do not do so within a period of 1 month will be fined. In light of the authorities' announcement over the past few weeks, the Justice Minister issued a statement this week announcing his intention to ban the trading of crypto coins in the country. As a result, several media outlets in South Korea reported that they have begun prohibiting crypto trading. However, the South Korean government issued an official statement stating that there is, in fact, no prohibition on the trading of crypto in the country, and that such a prohibition is unlikely to be enacted in the long run. It seems that the Justice Minister issued an independent announcement, and that his statement was not approved by the government. Following the Justice Minister's announcement, more than 120,000 citizens signed a petition against the proposal to ban trading of cryptocurrencies in the country. Furthermore, about 30,000 signed a petition calling on the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Justice to resign. Let's move to more news in Asia. In Japan, Line, the nation's leading instant messaging mobile app with over 168 million monthly users, is considering adding crypto payments through its payment application. The DMM Group, which works in e-commerce, has launched a new exchange, which as of now supports 7 cryptocurrencies. The group intends to establish another exchange during this spring, which will be designed for novice traders. Next up, Indonesia. The country's central bank has issued a severe warning about trading, buying, or selling cryptocurrencies. This warning follows a previous warning issued by the bank in September that it would not accept crypto coins as a method of payment. The previous warnings also led to the closure of 2 major trading platforms in Toko Bitcoin and BitBayar. Another source from East Asia, the Lunu Bank account operating from Malaysia, was frozen by the country's tax authorities, and Lunu reported that they are not concerned about the possibility of clients' capital disappearing in the exchange, and that it is currently in discussions with the bank and the authorities to resolve the situation. It seems that they are required to strengthen their KYC process of its Malaysian customers. Next up is China. Bitmain, the Chinese mining company, is in the process of setting up a new subsidy area in Switzerland, Bitmain, Switzerland. Pretty cool. This move follows a direct increase in supervision by the authorities, mainly on the electricity consumption of the country's mining farms. Bitmain is not alone, and alongside other mining companies, it plans to open centers in Quebec, Canada. This is due to the low-cost electricity and cold weather in the area. Additionally, it seems that authorities in the country are continuing the fight against crypto trading, with an emphasis on online trading platforms. A senior official of the Chinese central bank called on state authorities to ban trading in cryptocurrencies in the country, as well as to restrict individuals or businesses to offer services related to trading in crypto. This extends to things such as virtual wallet operations. Pan Gongshen, vice president of the bank, said the authorities should continue to exert heavy pressure and supervision on the market, and even called to block foreign sites that provide services to Chinese users. These announcements, together with announcements from the South Korean authorities, led to a sharp drop in the price of Bitcoin, which, if you aren't looking at the graph behind me, is pretty intense, which reached its lowest level since early December, below 11,500. Right now, we're at 10,500. Oof. Next, Australia. In Australia, similar to South Korean authorities' approach, the country has set up a special team to identify and collect information about all crypto transactions in the country for the sake of tax purposes. There seems to be a new trend in the world of increasing supervision on crypto traders due to fear of tax invasion. Similar actions can be seen in India and South Africa. Now let's move a little bit further away from further away from Asia, because now we're going into Europe. Let's start with Russia. The Ministry of Finance has begun to draft a bill that will legitimize the crypto trading in certain government-approved exchanges. This is in accordance with Putin's statement that the crypto market should be fully regulated in Russia. By doing this, it eliminates the inherent risks arising from trading in those currencies and prevents any possibility of using those currencies for money laundering, tax invasion, or terrorist financing. Because of Putin's statements, Russia's largest exchange, Moscow Exchange, announced its intention to allow trading in financial instruments derived from the value of the Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, and appears to be backed by the Minister of Economics. Yet at this stage, the country's central bank is still strongly opposed to this option. In Belarus, the president signed an order earlier this month that for the next 5 years, crypto trading, conversion between crypto and fiat currencies, as well as ICOs, will all be legal in the country, as well as an exemption from any taxes, including capital gains. That is unbelievable. This is expected to take place in March, and he hopes this will attract new investors and entrepreneurs to his country. More from Europe. The French economic minister has strongly opposed the use of Bitcoin and cryptos in the country this week. This is mainly due to the fear of damaging the country's economic stability. He stated that this fear stems from the various concerns of lack of disclosure and speculation in the crypto market. This is something we've heard from a lot of big government officials from all over the world. Next up, Sweden. Sweden is considering issuing a national cryptocurrency, the e-krona. Sweden is among the countries with the lowest rate of cash use in the world, which may allow easy acceptance into the crypto world. Next, let's move to America. The United States. At this stage, there are no federal regulations regarding to the crypto markets. Currently, the IRS and the Federal Tax Collection Authority's approach is to recognize crypto as assets liable for capital gains. In this coming February, a conference is scheduled which will include senior SEC and CFTC officials, whose main objective is to regulate the crypto market so that in the coming months it can also be regulated on a federal level. More news from the United States. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission ordered the ETF to freeze all ETF funds related to cryptocurrencies. This is caused by implications tying the ETF to volatile and illiquid assets. Additionally, on the political front, a new bill in Arizona proposes allowing citizens to pay taxes using crypto coins. That's pretty cool. At this point in the show, I'm going to do just a few quick headlines and some pretty cool news, so let's hear it. First, KFC in Canada launched a marketing campaign in which it launched a new special item, the Bitcoin Bucket. For a limited time, you can pay for food using Bitcoin. Cool. Next, Calderon Calvin Ayre, founder of Bodog, announced his plan to set up a new venture to deal with the Bitcoin cash mines. Keep in mind, all of these headlines that I'm speaking about right now are all on the website, and you can find articles to all of them attached to this video. In addition, MoneyGram International Inc. announced the launch of a new pilot program to test the use of XRP, Ripple's currency. Next, this one's really crazy. Bitcoin has reached a significant milestone. 80% of the total Bitcoin has been sold, about 16.8 million Bitcoins. Next, Bitlum launched an alpha version of Zigzag, an exchange based on the Lightning Network. Next up, the organizers of the North American Bitcoin Conference, or abbreviated TNABC, stopped allowing payments for tickets to the conference in Bitcoin, apparently due to network congestion and high fees. This news generated lots of buzz on social networks and a wave of tweets, most notably the economics professor Paul Krugman, who tweeted to his 4 million followers, "Bitcoin conference will not accept Bitcoin because it's too clunky and expensive." Yay. I don't know about that, but let's move on to our final segment where I'm going to go through each individual coin, where it stands right now in the market, and talk a little bit about it. So let me pull up the first graph. Here we have, had a little China flag here. I was going to put it earlier in the video, but I figured, just because we have so much news about China and it's so much affecting the market. But moving forward, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, where it stands right now. There's been support around 14,000, but it did not really hold, and it seems that in the near future, this area will become resistant. The market will become bullish if we can reach the 17,000 mark or above. However, until we see these prices, the market feels a bit scary. Fears reflected in the sharp decline during the past 24 hours. The price was dropping by almost $2,000. Stabilization around 13,500 will be a very positive relief, and I'm hoping it comes sooner than later. Next, we have Ethereum against the dollar. After a record high of $1,450 last week, a sharp correction in in just this last hour led the price to trade at $1,000 with subsidies around $900. The support level is marked in yellow. Let you guys look at this graph a little bit more. This is the yellow that I was talking about here. Next up, first let's look at Ethereum, compared to Bitcoin. The rise from the resistance areas were way too rapid. After this run, support is around 0.083 Bitcoin and resistance is in the 0.1 Bitcoin area. Next, let's talk about Bitcoin Cash. We always have a lot of users asking about altcoins, so let's talk about some alts. Bitcoin Cash against the dollar. The rate would have looked fairly stable, but the sharp declines did not skip Bcash, which fell from its support level around $2,400 to a price of about $1,800. It's currently traded at these levels. The support areas are marked in yellow are still from the previous update. The support areas that are marked in yellow are still from the previous update. So those were before and these are the current updates. Next, let's look at Bitcoin Cash compared to Bitcoin. Against Bitcoin, the price went down a little this week, but looks positive from last week. Traded around 0.16 Bitcoin with support in the 0.14 Bitcoin areas and resistance of around 0.2 remains intact. Next up, Litecoin. Against the dollar, after a record of $370, the exchange rate is very volatile. It dropped by almost 50%. It's currently traded around $190 with support around $80 and resistance around $260. We hope to see a bit of a rally on the way up. Next is against the Bitcoin. The price is relatively stable. Strong support around 0.014 Bitcoin, where demand for the Litecoin is high. However, it appears that the positive trend has stopped. Resistance lies around 0.0185 Bitcoin. And last but not least, we have Bancor. Against the dollar, the coin is in a positive trend, reaching highs of $11. But a sharp correction brought the price levels to about $6, where support lies. Resistance is in the $11 zones. Against Bitcoin, we see a continuous decline since its price discovery. It seems that a floor of support was discovered in December, and since then the price has been rising. Excessive enthusiasm around the coin seems to have resulted in too rapid of a rise in its price. However, the market usually shows that after the sharp rise, the behavior seems quite healthy, and the growth of the coin's volume is also evident for that. Resistance is around 0.00075 Bitcoin, and support for this range is around 0.005 Bitcoin. It's around those areas. That is all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully next week we'll be back with a Facebook Live video. No promises, but we're definitely working on it. So excited to see you guys back. And yeah, have a great week. See you guys.